A good Saturday morning to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Today we travel to Mexico, where I'm going to share with you one of my favorite banknotes of the nation of Mexico, the Mexican 5,000 pesos. It measures 157 by 67 millimeters, and this particular version is dated the 19th of July, 1985. I've used Wikipedia, Standard Catalog of World Paper Money, and the Banknote book as references where I got a lot of my information. The note is predominantly brown, black, and tan, and the PIC number for this note is 85. The PIC number for this note is 88, and the banknote book number is B665. It is on paper. And what it shows on the front of the note are what are known as the Niños Heroes. These were the young men who died or spent, their time in the Mexican-American War defending Chapultepec Palace from the United States of America. We'll try not to be too terribly political with this, but it is a fascinating story. First, let's talk about the six gentlemen on the front of the note. We have Francisco Marquez, who at 13 was the youngest of the defenders. We have Vicente Suarez, who was on sentry duty and was attacked he attacked the soldiers when they wouldn't stop when he told them to stop. We also have Juan Escutia, who had only been at the school for 5 days. He wrapped himself in the flag and jumped to keep the flag from U.S. hands. And they've duplicated this feat in paintings and other Mexican government buildings. Juan de la Barrera, at 19, was the oldest of these defenders. Fernando M. de Oca, found dead after the battle. And Agustin Melgar tried to defend the north side of the castle by himself. In addition to these gentlemen, we see the battle flag of the active battalion of San Blas. This note has a security device of a solid security strip. And it looks like lots of lathe work you can see in the background of the note. This would be a note that just probably would not have been easily counterfeited until the time of those fancy copying machines. So it's pretty interesting what's going on this note. In addition to these heroes, there were 40 other cadets who survived the attack and were taken prisoner. These gentlemen gave their lives for their nation. The back of the note has a bank seal. Let's see if we can't see it nicely. A bank seal. And it has a view of Chapultepec Castle, which is the only former royal palace in North America. Or I should say the only royal palace in North America. And I know people are thinking, wait, Hawaii. Well, Hawaii belongs as a state to the United States of America, but it is in fact in Polynesia in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And although it does have a former royal palace, it's technically not wrong to say that Chapultepec Castle is the only royal palace in North America. Over here in the bottom corner, we also have the Military College seal of 1847. The battle for Chapultepec lasted for only around 2 hours. Now let's get a little bit of history of the palace going. Chapultepec Castle was home to Maximilian I and Empress Carlotta. He was the younger brother of the Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph I, and he had been offered the throne of Mexico by a group of Mexican nobles. He came over and thought he was doing the best he could for his new adopted country. The nations of Russia, Austria, and Prussia recognized the empire, but they were the only ones. The U.S. at this time supported the presidency of Benito Juarez, who is honored on other coins and banknotes of Mexico. After being abandoned by the French, the Republic was restored, and Emperor Maximilian was executed. He was what is called an enlightened monarch, and a continued reign of his may have been to the benefit of the Mexican people, whom he adopted with his whole heart. And again, he didn't choose to conquer Mexico. He was invited to come there by members of the Mexican nobility. Prior to his execution, he said, I forgive everyone, and I ask everyone to forgive me. May my blood, which is about to be shed before the good of the country. Viva Mexico, viva la independencia. And then he was shot dead. He did manage to provide each of his executors with one of his gold coins, though. What a story they would tell. My heart beats and expands with pain sometimes for the people of Mexico. The tragic history that they have with their governments, and the scary governments they had sometimes, not only in modern times, but in times of pre-Columbian history with the Aztecs and then the Maya and then the Toltec and then, just everybody. It was just a nation that seemed to be bathed in blood. And it's just my hope that someday the people of Mexico can have a government that deserves to be their government and take care of the people of Mexico. This palace is in a beautiful part of Mexico City, and may have been the site of the region where the Aztec emperors used to go to get out of the city when it was impossible to be in certain times of the year. It's a beautiful palace, and it can be seen to this day if you visit Mexico City. And for a while, it was the presidential palace, and then for a while, it was the museum, and then then it was the palace again. Now it is a museum again, as the present president, I believe, has moved into the historic square of Mexico City where there was another palace. I don't pretend to know everything about this note, but I did enjoy doing some research and discovering the things I did about the only royal palace in North America, Chapultepec, and the 6 young men who to this day are heroes of Mexico for fighting off the American soldiers who marched on Mexico City. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Please share this video with others. And by all means, correct me. I'm pretty sure that what I found on Wikipedia isn't going to hold a lot of scrutiny for those especially who are the lovers and scholars of the history of Mexico. I'm Benjamin. Have a jewel of a day.